Certainly the banking cartel is one of the most important, and one that I've been working on for almost 71 years. Well, it runs the world, but it shouldn't, because the banking system is one giant Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
It is probably the most immoral system that you can imagine. And 62 families that you could put on one suburban street own every second city around the world, lock, stock, and barrel. The equivalent, 100%. Now, you think that's a fair system?
Of course it's not.
Of course it's not. She was talking to me one day and she said, Paul, do you know how much interest you people have paid on the money that you've had to borrow because you changed the system in 1974? She said, more than $1 trillion. I admit I did not believe her, which was wrong of me because I knew she wouldn't tell me a lie. But I still had, at that time, I had privileges with the Parliamentary Library and their group that looked into these things and answered questions for people. And so I asked them the question, and they came up with the answer 2 or 3 times, but the latest one I think was that between fiscal 74-75 and fiscal 2013-14, the Canadian people paid 1.37 trillion, that's T-R-I-L-L-I-O, and I don't think you have exactly the same thing over there. You call it something else, but it's 1,000 billion here, and that's how much interest we paid in those years that we didn't need to. All central banks have to be publicly owned, 100%. 100%. And then there's a slick mechanism that we devised of, instead of using bonds to get central banks to produce the money that the governments need, that they use shares in the country. So in our country, we're proposing $10 billion non-transferable, non-redeemable, whatever, shares in the country. It's just a piece of paper, so they balance their books. And you give them the bonds. We were suggesting 15 a year for 7 years. And that was $150 billion a year that we could split between the federal government and the provincial governments, which was more than enough to balance budgets at federal, provincial, and municipal levels. More than enough at lower taxes than we had, plus some left over to start reducing some of the debt.